My name is Byron Holman. My student ID is 4733333441. This recording will be used for the purpose of my education and training only and will be used, viewed and stored per TAFE Queensland's privacy policy, which is available on the TQ website and only accessed by TAFE Queensland staff. Megan Holman will be Amanda for this recording. Megan, do you provide your consent to be recorded in this activity and for TAFE Queensland to use this recording for the education and training purposes?
Yes.
Awesome, let's get into it. Hey Amanda, how are you today?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Not too bad. My name is Byron. I'll be your counsellor today. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks.
How's your morning been so far?
Oh, just relaxing.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to go, I think. So I just thought before we get into everything, if you're okay with it, we'll just get into the confidentiality of Windsor, our company, and you've heard of confidentiality before, have you?
Yes.
Yes, so I'll just go through how we stand on our policies and understanding the importance that we really bring to those, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with confidentiality here at Windsor, we do make sure that it's very well known that we make sure that confidentiality is the biggest part of one of our values. So we want to make sure that I think we can both understand that in a new place, in a new area, if you have to speak about something that's important to you or something that's going on, it can be a bit nerve-wracking sometimes. So we're definitely valuing that, how brave you are for coming in, but making sure that you understand from our side of things what we're bringing to the table, which is making sure that nobody from who you're talking about to professionals, other professional service providers will know about what's going on. You have complete floor to talk to us about, talk to myself and in this room, and it doesn't go out of that room. So no other workers here at Windsor know about it, except for maybe my supervisor that may look into our file every so often, just to see performance-wise if I'm giving you the best possible professional care that I can give you.
Excellent.
In your situation that's going on. So making sure that he will be under the same confidentiality as I am with you and as the company is with your files and everything like that. So the only other time that it will get to a point where we won't have a say in making sure that the confidentiality stayed there is if you get in a court, in a law of court, and there's a situation that they ask for your files because it will be on your record, we will have to give that to them. But in the case of any relatives, any friends, family, or any referrals that are made, there will be a document that is needed to be discussed with you and signed by yourself to go to those referrals, but it will never go out to any relatives. Even if they rang us up 100 times, we would never give it to them.
Excellent.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So I've got a form here, and I'll just get you to sign that one. So just have a read over that. If you have any issues, and let's say you're on the drive home and you think, oh, I'm not sure about that, we can always go back to it and look at what the inquiry is and go from there. Yeah. Awesome, thank you so much. And just double checking you're okay with me doing the notes as well and writing some notes throughout that session. It won't be all the time, but it'll just be basic, important things that I feel like I'll need to make sure on those case notes eventually to look into and put on file. But it'll be good to, once we get to a place where we're satisfied with the situation, then we can look back and say, look where we came from at the start of our journey and onwards. Awesome.
Perfect.
Awesome. So without rushing you into anything, in your own words and in your own time, do you want to just let me know of what's the concern and what's brought you in today, Amanda?
Yeah, I guess I just wanted to have a chat with somebody, outside of the family, just to speak out my thoughts. Obviously it's regarding my mum, Mary. She's 83 and has got to a point that she's getting on in the age and not as quick on her feet anymore, so her ability has declined a little bit. I am having concerns of her being on her own. I guess she used to come on for a few nights a week, but it's got to the point that she needs extra care. So she's not cooking for herself, or even I've tried the meals and that's not worked. So I've tried a few solutions, they're not working, she's still not doing it. So I need to have, if she has a fall, she's on her own. So I need to that's why I'm here, to have a discussion about a few things of where I'm thinking we're leading and get a plan in place for me.
Okay, so obviously we're at a bit of a crossroads yourself with making sure that your mum is getting older and making that transition from maybe not being as independent to having a bit more care around her. Is that where the main issue lies? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so making sure that she is feeding herself properly, that she is in a place where there is people in case she has a fall and everything like that.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a tricky situation, as you know. Like, obviously being the daughter, I'm sure you feel like you're needing to be the caregiver now because she's cared for you all these years. And I think that as a son myself, I know that when my mother is in need of some help, I think that eventually we all kind of grasp onto, oh, they took care of me, so I need to take care of them. Is that what you're kind of feeling, or is there something?
Yeah, definitely. She did take care of us growing up, and I feel I need to, but I also work full time. So I need to juggle this in the best way for her and myself, though. I work full time. And I'm only 52. I'm not ready to give up work. But I know Mum is needing me as well. So there's a few things that I've obviously thought of that I'm going to need to bring her into my home full time now, instead of, a few nights a week anymore. It's something that I've been thinking about and, trying to hash out myself, and figured I just need to come here and have a chat with you and share what I think.
Yep. So just to make sure that we're on the right track, there's a bit of a understanding that there's a decision that's needing to be made, that you're not really, you've kind of elaborated on saying that you kind of understand where the option may be needing to go, but you're obviously very passionate about your work and you want to make that transition, but you don't want to affect that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So it looks like we're in a bit of a decision-making process. So what I was thinking about is bringing in a decision-making model, like a therapy, to help us with that. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've already kind of done this model already without even thinking about it, just in separate parts. It's called the traditional based decision-making model. And basically what it's all about is making sure it's basically, without the name, what we all kind of do with decision making. It's just a bit harder when it becomes something like a bigger situation in your life, like such as this. This is a very big thing because obviously you're so passionate about your work, and there's a bit of a different thing going on where I'm sure you didn't expect this to happen so soon. But so basically what we're all about is the model is broken down to about 5 to 6 steps. Now, I say 5 to 6 because 2 of them are really just making sure that we're getting into the fact of the benefits, and I don't really like to use consequences or negative because it sounds very negative, but maybe downfall is another right word to use in a situation. So it's just making sure that those 2 steps are really not divided by each other. They're very together because it's something that we can look at and then look at again, so then we can analyse it and get to our decision that we want to make in the action plan. So I'll just go through them very quickly with you, and I'll explain it to you. So the first one is identifying the problem. So you've already kind of talked about what's going on. I wouldn't say it's a problem, it's a situation, a concern maybe. And so your mum obviously needing a bit more care, and herself, maybe the problem is that she may be feeling a bit down about herself because she's had so much independence. Now she's relying on a few other things. Pardon me. The second one would be looking at the methods of what we're going to do, the options that we've got, looking at everything between all the data that you've given me, all the opinions that may be made, not that opinions matter, but between yourself and your mum and maybe your work, that matters, you know. So those things matter in this situation because you guys are the three that are going to make this happen. The third one would be the benefits. What's the benefits of this happening where we work out a problem solving situation of these options and seeing what would be the benefit of that happening? So your mother would feel, I think, a little bit more supported. She might have a friend or something like that she might become friends with one of the aged care people, or your relationship with your mum may grow a lot more, you know, being so close together. But making sure she's safe may be another one for you, you know. So that could be another thing. Consequences or downfall, whatever word you would feel more comfortable with, is what could that be? You know, it could be maybe you don't get to work as much. But all these things I feel are a lot of, with going back to your situation and taking it away from the decision making, I think we all think about decision making in a certain way where it's one thing's got to go and one thing's got to stay, you know what I mean? We can juggle, we can juggle this in a way that's not so heavy, you know. We're not juggling it to, oh, I've got to get this done, I've got to get this done. No, we can work towards something together and have it just as an add-on to life, you know, to make it easy for you, to make it easy on her, to make it easy on everybody. So because obviously you're so passionate about work, we want to make sure that that's a balance for you, so you don't go straight for your mum and then yourself has a bit of a downfall because you're not seeing your work colleagues as much, you're not going out in the field of work that you are so passionate about. So we really want to make sure that that's together, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, that sounds spot on.
Okay, so going off that and looking at the downfall and the benefits after that step would be making a decision, and whatever that decision may be, we can always kind of tinker with it a little bit, and then it would be action planning. So instead of dumping it all like a rock, like just dropping it on yourself and dropping you into this new set schedule, a new situation, we would slowly put it in. So like instead of saying, let's just say that one of the things that you said is dropping one of the days of work, maybe we just do half a day off of work on the Friday afternoon and spend that with your mum and take care of your mum through that. So then you've got 4.5 days working, and then we can go to 5 days. I mean, 4 days of work, 1 day off. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
So instead of dumping and say, okay, Amanda, do this work week, and then next week, just gonna have 1 extra day off. And it's like, it sounds easy, but it can all go very hard for yourself. It's not so much about your mum, because your mum will have that care, but it will get to yourself, and we want to make sure that it's the easiest way to do this is by smoothing it out. Yeah. So does that sound okay? Or?
Yeah, I think you're right too. So I guess the thoughts are that I may have to drop a day. It makes actual sense, you know, hearing you go, hang on a minute, maybe transition that a bit slower, which would be great because I don't want to become a little bit cranky at my mum because I'm giving up what I want.
Yeah.
So that's good. I appreciate that, you know, your thought, because I didn't think of that. And maybe just have the aged care facility come in, you know, for 4 hours for 4 days a week, you know. If I can look at that, because then I'm there with her to make meals. I'm still getting to go to work. Mum can bath herself.
Yeah.
My concern is if she falls over and I'm not there. So if Blue Care's there to help her do a room, because she doesn't want me doing everything. She wants to keep that bit of independence. So if I can help her that way, and then they go and get her a bit of shopping or her medicines, and then I'm not working full time, running after mum full time. So there's a bit of a balance for her and myself.
Yeah.
I think that will be a lot more doable.
I think it's, from what you've already just discussed there, Amanda, it's about making sure that her independence is still well alive and going smoothly, but also the way you said it as well, it's making sure that not only are you healthy with your workload and everything like that, it's making sure your own independence is still there. You know, you love your mum, and we all love our mums so much, but you still want to have your own
Life.
little hub there where you've got your own little things going on. You walk out the door and you know that everything else is taken care of. This is what I'm focusing on right now. Does that make sense?
1,000,000%, because I guess having her live with me, the pluses are that I'm not worrying as much. I know she's been fed properly. I know she's safe if she was to have a fall. And I guess the other option is just to get a little necklace of the 4 hours that I'm still at work that Blue Care aren't there.
The emergency one?
Yeah, maybe that's an option as well. Not that she's had too many falls yet, but being 83, that's something that we need to be aware of.
Yeah, and look into, definitely. Those little gadgets can definitely really help, especially if, you know, we've got people that are very, like, I know my mother as well, very, no, don't need help, and it's just lucky that, you know, maybe when she puts her hand up and says, I do need help, is when, you know, at least you've got a signal there. So,
Ready.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so making sure, do you feel like there's anything else that needs to be kind of covered in the way of maybe hurdles that you may face when going towards this situation, or something that she may need to have, like Mary, your mother, she may need to have another service that does something else, or?
Well, I guess at the moment, I don't see that we need that. But down the track, look, because this plan here that I have, the next plan going forward, I may need to drop the whole day at work, as you know, you mentioned, or get a flexible working agreement with my work to have full day of home and then 4 days in the office, because my job is able to do that. But I also, I love my work and I want to support my boss and my colleagues. But to be able to have that 1 day may be helpful, and down the track, maybe I'll just need the service for some bathing and different things. At the moment, I don't. I don't know when that's going to change either, though.
Okay, so would you find that maybe Blue Care would be something that we'd look into the future, or are you thinking for certain things for your mum, for for the 4 days that, you know, if she moves into your place, that we would kind of use those 4 days of full day care kind of thing, of making sure that just whether she needs to have them for the whole day or not, at least they're still in the house to make sure that if something goes on, you don't have to rush home or anything like that.
Yeah, I think looking at 4 hours a day, if possible, for different things for that time. It doesn't need to be, it'll be like an outing for 1 day to get her little groceries or her things she wants, or to go shopping, to get her medicines another day, to take her to the hairdressers. You know, she still wants that independence, I guess. That's where I'm kind of looking at for that. Help her with the washing, because she can't hang it out, but she doesn't want me to do it. I work full time, and I don't want her feel bad and overwhelmed that I'm doing so much. So for her own sanity and my sanity, not getting cranky at her because I'm like, I'm really trying to look at that. At the moment, I think 4 hours a day would be good. And, you know, we can spend weekends doing whatever, and she wants to stay home and I go shopping. Down the future, we might need one on a weekend.
With everything that's happened, have you gone to talk to your work about this, or?
They're aware that Mum, it's coming to that point she may have to come with me, because she'd stayed a few nights and a few things have happened. I do need to go and have a discussion to say, hey, can I work, you know, take half a day Friday off, or can I do half a day from home? You know, just take a solution to them to help me out. Just work-life balance, I guess, Byron.
Because you're so passionate about it, and obviously going to work, you love everything around it, like the environment and everything. Do you find that there would be any friction with with dropping a day or half a day with that stuff, or having a flex, or would that be something that you'd be able to say, no, easy, that'll be fine with it?
Look, I'd like to say easy. I think it's possible. Government, they embrace work-life balance. But until I get in writing from the boss. But they're aware, and I have obviously been a long-standing employee, and haven't caused any hiccups. So I'm hoping they'll be in my corner. But I've seen them support other people, so I hope so.
Yeah, well, obviously saying that you've been there for such a long time, they're obviously a very trusted government organisation or company. So it's very promising to hear that we don't want to assume anything, but it's very, very pleasing to hear that you've stuck by them for so long. So like they must be some pretty amazing humans, if that makes sense. So what we'd be going and looking at is, do you think there's any other options to or something, another outcome through another option that you'd want to get out of it? So like looking at, we've obviously discussed the situation. It seems like there's been like a long option that we've got there of, making sure that, maybe looking into your mum being, instead of 3 nights a week with, yourself, if maybe we change that to the full time and, have Blue Care come in so it doesn't feel like, you're accommodating for her full time. There's other people there. Or, there's other things that we could look at. But what do you think, for not just looking at your mother's point of view, what would you find that's beneficial for this situation? Like what options are there out there for yourself looking into it? Because you obviously thought about it for a long time.
Yeah, I think obviously going to work, having a chat on Monday with my boss. I've got a meeting planned, so I just want to have a chat here today, to be honest, to get my head clear. That's exactly that's where I'm going. So Monday with them, I need to enlist some help through Blue Care to see if I can get, the 4 days a week for 4 hours a day. And maybe, I'm not sure, but the necklace, to get something for that just in place, when I'm not there. And I think at this stage, that would be enough. Future-wise, I may need to have some more services, with some bathing, but at the moment I don't need it.
Leaving her where she's living at the moment with Blue Care, or having her in your own house with Blue Care?
No, come to my house full time with Blue Care.
Okay. So do you feel like that's the option that you want to kind of, you obviously don't need to make a decision now, but would that be something that you would want to look into, or are you kind of not in the clouds, but wanting to kind of space the time out and kind of think about certain other options that are out there? You don't have to answer straight away, just take your time, but yeah.
Yeah, no. It is, obviously, I had been talking about this for a long, to myself, and trying to get my head around it, how I was going to balance work, how I'm going to balance mum, how I'm going to get her needs as well as my own. It is something I need to put into action. She's not feeding herself well, Byron. I need to take care of her. It'll be a bit of a challenge at first, but I think it'll turn out all right.
Awesome. Okay. Well, that seems like there's a bit of confirmation there that you wanted to go with that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you've obviously already set things up, and I really commend you for coming in today. Thank you so much for coming in. I think that it's understanding the fact that obviously going back to her independence, but also yours. We don't want to. We know our parents have always been there for us, but we don't want to drop everything as well, because you've obviously got many, many amazing things going on. You're a very passionate lady when it comes to everything around you, even your mum, adding that into your life and seeing that, hey, look, she needs help, let's sort this out. So it's not one of those things that this situation where you need to choose this and just deal with whatever's going on. That's why I'm here. I can't make the decision for you, but I can have your back with looking at what we can do, and if things arise, we face them together. We look at certain things and we problem solve for something else. But there's nothing if there's something bothering you and maybe you go to sleep tonight, or you're driving home today, or tomorrow, or whenever, a random situation happens where you think, oh, what if that happens? What if this happens? We can talk about it. Just call us up if you need an extra appointment. If not, maybe a week or so later, after you've sorted this week out, we have another discussion and see where we're going with that action plan, but slowly and smoothly. We all want this to happen really quickly, but it's also important to understand the psychological effect that this is happening on your mum as well.
Yeah.
Not that she doesn't see the amazing things that you've got working behind the scenes with all this, like blue care. Everyone thinks that's a bit different, but once you've got it, I feel like the support there is just amazing. And whether it is blue care or another aged care facility, it's very, very important to understand that at least we've got her back, and these people do care, and that's what they get paid for. So I really do appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much for trusting me with this situation that you're going through. I look forward to hopefully seeing you in a week and seeing how you go about things.
Yeah, it'll be good to have a chat in a week and know where we're at. That'll be really good.
No worries.
Thanks for listening to me today.
Thank you so much for trusting me, and thank you so much for working with me through this model of decision making. Thank you so much, Amanda.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye.
Bye.